Who's heard of dark mode? Well, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a mode that lets you change your interface of your application or your operating system into a dark version. So what this does is it sort of almost inverts the colors. So wherever you have a white background, you can get dark. It's coming to Windows soon, so when you go to My Computer and Explorer, you'll get a black background with white text and be able to see all the icons. We use it a fair bit in our development tools. So Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code have an option to do dark mode. So we can swap between the white with the black text or black with the white text. And as soon as we get any new program, we look for dark mode because we just find that it's easier on your eyes and makes things easier to work with. So this even happens across some websites. So the Microsoft Azure portal, which we have to log into a lot, has the option for 3 different backgrounds. There's a white, a blue, and a dark. Of course, we go to the dark. Now, this is something that's been coming out recently to Android phones, and it's been supported probably the last 1 or 2 versions. I've got it on my phone, and it's on all the time pretty much as well. But on Friday last week, I got an email from Apple saying that in the new version of iOS 13, any app that is built with that specific version of the SDK will automatically opt into dark mode on their apps, and that you should now start optimizing your apps for dark mode. So what this means is that at the operating system level, Apple has implemented dark mode. So once it's turned on, the entire operating system will be converted, and any app that is using that new version of the SDK will automatically swap to dark mode. So we haven't done a test in the office yet, but I'm guessing that any standard button will then be the invert of what it normally is. So your apps might look pretty terrible. You can opt out of this process if you're building an app under the new iOS 13. If you haven't built it under that yet, you don't have to worry about it. But it is something to keep in mind moving forward that you will have to consider dark mode. So you'll start having to manage 2 versions of the interfaces for your apps. You don't necessarily have to do this, but at some point, iOS 13 will have to be met and built against, and you won't have a choice. But there are some great advantages to dark mode. When a user is using it, their eyes don't get much strain. So high contrast, dark mode, night mode, all different names of it. It's called that for a reason. So at night, you don't get this bright screen staring at your face. Everything's a bit dimmed and only see the text that's white. Normally that high contrast is very hard to read, but on these phones, it's quite easy to read. So the other benefit is extended battery life. On their new screens that are being developed, which are OLED screens, when the pixel is black, it is actually off. So you actually get black with very high contrast between the black pixels and the other pixels. On older types of screens, such as an LCD that you have at home or a plasma, when the black is a black pixel, when the pixel is a black pixel, it's actually just dimmed to look black. It's not actually off. So you can actually get more battery life out of your app if it's something that's used heavily. So I remember reading a study last year from Android that by them turning on dark mode, they were able to save like an extra 12 or 13% battery life across the device because of their settings and Gmail and whatever other apps they did it against. So tip is start optimizing for dark mode now. Start getting that into your designs and planning, because sooner than later you're going to have to meet with it. You better get ahead of it now rather than trying to play catch up after.